Thank you so much, our facilitator. My name is Felix Mayo. Felix is a retail station owner or director from Eldoret, Western Kenya. I operate a station called Daltex Energy with a few other outlets, about 10 of them. I've actually come in to give a view of the retailers' position in Kenya, representing my region. And one is that, let me start by appreciating the work that POAC is doing, because for some time we have not had this national conversation, and we thank God for this step, and we encourage you to keep us in that direction. From the point of view of a retailer, we are in a situation where the margins are shrinking. And I want to thank my our presenters who have just sat down. The margins are shrinking day by day. In fact, I have just closed 2 stations because I realized that if I am not able to sell to some limit, if I go below 300 liters in a day, then automatically I will not be making any margin. And the best thing for me to do is to close down that station. So the challenges, I want to share the challenges that we have as retailers. And number one is a request which I want to place, that for IPRA and the Kenya Bureau of Standards, you have given us classifications of retail stations. And on a view from the bottom, we have realized that a single pump is able to serve a whole ward in enabling them to get fuel. While the lowest classification of a petrol station, according to the outline given by Kenya Bureau of Standards classification, which they consult so much with IPRA, is that you must have a minimum size of 450 meters square. You must have a title deed and so many other requirements. We have been able to realize that we have shop owners who could be having a single pump in front of their shop, but they really serve the Kenyans. This is a view from the bottom. We are not saying that we pull the standards so low, but we are asking that, is it possible to still revise the standard of a lowest petrol station to even a 200 meter square size of land? And I know that will come with a question of title deed. Across, I have about 5 stations where I have a serious problem on the title deed. And another request on these is that for the licensing stages, is it possible to have a lease agreement, not a lease certificate that is registered, for the purpose of me being enabled to get a 1-year license, so that even as I continue pushing on the issues of title, I am able to have this legal lease agreement to process my license and enable me to do business. So these are the issues that we are thinking from our end. This could be very important. Secondly, on the issue of standardization of quality of fuel, we have a feeling that as retailers, we do not sometimes we may not have the right tools to check on our fuel. When IPRA or SGS come, we realize that there are certain sophisticated items that they use to measure the quality of fuel, whether this is adulterated or not. Our request on this is that how can this be facilitated to retailers to access them at a cheaper cost so that we are also able to read from the same script. You know, when an authority comes and they're using highly sophisticated tools, but here you are trying to meet these, and you realize that whatever you are using may not be able to give the same result as what they are using, then it means that we are not, there is a variance in terms of where we need to attain. And this is our request. Could you work on a modality of enabling the retailers to have these tools to use in checking the adulteration of fuel, whether it meets the required standards? Our other issue on the Kenya Pipeline Company is the issue of breakdowns during loading. You realize that we do not stock a lot of fuel in our stations. Many other times, we just operate on fuel that is enough to serve maybe 2 or 3 days. The next day, we should be back to the pipeline. Sometimes we realize that there are breakdowns that will lead to overlay of time, and at times this will lead you to a point where you get dry. And this is what we are saying, that we want the Kenya Pipeline to expand on their loading base so that we are enabled to load in real time, and whenever there are issues, please respond to these issues in good time. The other issue is the issue of price capping. On the issue of price capping, you realize that the retailer has been left, especially for this duration that we have been the last 1 year, we do not have the wholesalers capping. And this has really squeezed the margins that are supposed to be meant for the retailers. You realize that of late, PMS from our shippers, we get it now at 174, 170, 172, while we are expected to sell at around 177. That is in Eldoret. So you realize that the margins that we are left with because of this price capping is almost bringing you to a negative. So where are we heading? If IPRA is not having the interest of the retailer at heart by capping the retailer and making sure that these margins are protected. So we make a request to IPRA to kindly give it a serious consideration to bring forward the price capping. On KRA, we have had a number of our customers being assessed, and a very serious component in the bank statement is the issue of contra entries, which are not accepted. You have moved money from your account in Barclays to your account in KCB so that you are able to pay from one pool, and when you try to show that this money is the same money that has moved from this bank to this bank, you are told, no, you see, we only want to see the transactions that has occurred in your account. So at the end of the day, if you are billed against that, it becomes a problem.
Thank you.
I know time is going up. Lastly is on NEMA. We are requesting that the NEMA charges be reduced. They are exorbitantly high, and it makes most of our retailers not to comply. Finally, is to thank Equity. Our other serious problem is financing. So I hope you are bringing in this component to really bridge the gap of the retailer and that of the reseller. But you've not mentioned to us whether there are any application fees involved and or any hidden charges. What are these charges that you will levy, especially because we will be renewing every 3 months, and I appreciate for that kind of interaction.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Felix, thank you so much.